didn't know exactly where you were coming from, so let's keep that in mind. Okay. Defy darkness. Measure the walls. How many hands? Enough to hold them up even as they succumb to the encroaching darkness? Or do they close in on us? Isn't that the same? Overwhelmed, how can we be anything but alone? That's not rhetorical, or even a question. Dark corners everywhere, and nowhere to turn. Yet light everywhere, if we consider ourselves. We are not alone. Ourselves are just that, ours to embrace, to share. More or less. More or less? Less, if you consider that we are one, not separate. More when taken as a whole. More light in those dark corners. More hands to hold up the walls that hold out the darkness. Push them ever outward, eliminating the fringe while embracing it as part of the whole.
Wow.
Yeah! Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please send me that?
Yeah, I can. I'll send it to you on Facebook.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I had a poem that I wrote years ago. I think at least 18 or earlier, so 3 to 5 years ago. That was about my mother. How to hold a robin's song. And I was satisfied with it, but I pulled it out recently because I was thinking of submitting it, and I looked at it, and it's like I used the word memory short times in 5 stanzas. And they're short. No, I mean, it's a short poem. That's what I write, short poems usually. So I rewrote it, okay? But I'm going to give you the original first. How to hold a robin's song. A robin's song is already a memory when the morning air vibrates. If I hear its echo, is it the memory returning or the continued presence of something that's gone? How can memories fill a void when eggshells will not bring an empty nest to life? There is nothing in absence, though I may try to fill it with memories. And still, I miss you. Okay, so I condensed it. I actually worded it differently. I made it shorter. Now, you know, I'm thinking for short poems, so I don't like making it shorter yet, but that's how it came out. It's a new title, Robin's Song, but a Memory. When the morning air vibrates, I hear its echo, the presence of something that is gone. Memories may fill a void, but eggshells will not bring an empty nest to life. Though I may try to fill it, there is nothing in absence. I still miss you.
I love that you took it back and you put it together and wrote it again, and still you came to the same point. It's just like,
Yeah.
Honestly,
I took a different path to the same place. Almost.
Yeah, thank you for sharing both of those. Really, that was cool. It's like a little piece of your own evolution.
Yeah. Cool. Before I go too far, while I remember thinking of this, I'll give this so you can look at it. Has anybody heard of origami poetry? Okay, there's a website called Origami Poems, it might be .org or .com. And they accepted 6 of my poems. And what they do is they take them and they print them all on one piece of paper. And they flip them so that you can fold it up. Except that when you fold it down the middle and then fold it again, it doesn't open up per page. So what you have to do is cut it in the center so it creates a star in the center. So it's right so there's an opening. And so I submitted 6 poems, and they contacted me and said, yeah, they're going to print them, and they asked if I had a picture that I wanted to do with it. Because if they would consider it, you know, because they don't guarantee that.
Right.
And they were all poems about, I visited a woman who at the time was 82. She had property north of of San Francisco. She called it the Land, Casadero Art and Nature Conservancy. It's in the mountains, it's in Sonoma Valley. She's got 40 acres of meadow and forest, and she's an artist, musician. With her artist friend, she put installations all the way around it. And she took me up there, and we stayed overnight for 2 nights. And so it's inspired me for poems over the years. So I submitted them, and they accepted them. These are a couple that a guy I know, a friend of mine, actually had a couple of work on poems. But I thought I would so you could look at them and see what they look like. It's pretty cool. Well, the book is, isn't that neat?
That is neat.
Yeah, 6 poems. So
they do like size limits and stuff like that.
Yes, like 47 characters per line and so many lines because you want it to fit on the page because you want to keep your formatting. So and they're free, downloadable PDF.
That is cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So I actually have a chapbook. What do you know? Well, I will.
Hell yeah.
So I can download your poems off this website?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
next time I'm here, I get
that's amazing.
Yeah. Assuming it comes out next month, but yeah. Okay, when I was here last time, I read a poem from, I told you it came from an anthology, and the month before I read one from another anthology, and I decided to bring the books and read them out of the books. And actually, I have copies of them. In fact, I had ordered a couple extra from Amazon for this one, but this one, it's editor down in Texas, and I got a free contributor's copy and contributor prices. So yeah, so I bought a handful of books, so I had some extras. So anyway, Easing the Edges is a collection of everyday miracles. And I had 2 poems in here, and I'm going to read one. It's called Linear Freedom. Somewhere beyond the line that separates us, outside the angles they form, beneath the layers and complexities they create, lies the course of a line that we imagine, one that erases all other lines. A simple curve, a circle, yet free from restraint, that enables us to escape those layers and complexities that stifle us as we imagine a better place, one that excludes none and holds all.
Yeah.
And now here, I use one of those as a bookmark. Okay. So this one is called Water Lilies. They put 2 poems from here in there. And or he did, or I did. All right, Water Lilies. Short. I read a lot of poetry about water. Water lilies.
I hadn't noticed.
I move beside the shore, water creased by the bow before me, caressed by the paddle beside me. Startled, a heron takes flight from a fallen tree at water's edge. Its wings, a faint whisper in the silence. Paddle still, I drift past a willow into a floating carpet of green. Pink and white lilies nod as they part. I pause in the stillness. Monet's vision spread before me. At peace. Amid peace.
Yeah.
And one more that I'll read to you. I've decided I'm going to try to submit this. I've actually worked on it so I can submit it because where I submitted, they had line restrictions too. So it has an epigraph. It's 3 lines from a poem by Sylvia Plath. So it's called Beyond These Waters. Stars open among the lilies. Are you not blinded by such expressionless sirens? This is the silence of astounded souls. Sylvia Plath, Crossing the Water. I look into the depths between the lilies, beyond the darkness, to see the light held by the stars reflected there. There is a sheen in that light, dripping from my fingers as they trail through the water. A light not so distant, not so silent. Its voice calls to me, reminds me that not every siren will lead me to further darkness. That light can conquer shadow. I follow that voice to a current of my own making, away from waters that would stagnate me, would assign me to a place not meant for me. From the surface of these waters to the fish at my fingertips, from the trees on the banks to the land that holds them, there's not one thing that cannot be brought into this light. This sign is not a valedictory. It is a welcoming sight, inviting me to be in the light, astounded by all that I see. So this one is Poetry of Nature, and there's a poem in here.
Oh, sorry, I got really excited. I'm so sorry. That was completely involuntary. I did not mean to do that. I'm so sorry.
I love that so much.
A poem, totally a poetry book, totally about it. I'm sorry. I'm done.
And then this one, Easing the Edge, is a collection of everyday miracles. So, yeah. So, and I've got them, and I'll bring them next time too.
Okay, I will get some for you before we go tonight. Okay.